Welcome to the Well Rounded Momma YouTube channel. My name is Sarah Sorvillo and I am one of the midwives here at Well Rounded Momma, as well as the instructor for the fertility workshop. One of the big questions that I get a lot in my practice and in our workshop is what kind of fertility foods can help you not only conceive, but then maintain a beautiful pregnancy. So that's kind of what I'm going to cover today. And if you are wondering what I mean by fertility, I literally mean how to help you have a healthy body, healthy hormones, so that if and when you do conceive a baby, that baby has the best chance of having really good health as well. And that pregnancy continues to term so that you can have a beautiful birth. Probably one of the first things that is recommended to women who are wanting to conceive is a folic acid supplement. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. However, there have been some studies out now that say that high dose folic acid, specifically supplements, can sometimes in large doses cause more harm than it does good. What we're finding out now is that a more natural source called folate, so folic acid, is an artificial version of folate. Folate is something that is found in vegetables and some certain foods that we'll talk about in just a second. But folate is something that is naturally absorbed by the body. It is a natural water-soluble B vitamin, and it's really good for you. It's fantastic for your nervous system. It can also help you with morning sickness later on, specifically B6, but they do a lot of really great things for the body, not just for your growing baby. Folic acid specifically has to be metabolized by the liver. It has to be methylated by your liver in order for you to absorb it. And for those of you who aren't familiar, there is actually a gene mutation that some of us have. It's called MTHFR, and that is a gene that can cause us to have a really hard time absorbing folic acid specifically. So even though you might have some folic acid in your diet, some foods are fortified with that, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting enough or that you're absorbing what you take in. So it's always a great idea that if you're going to take a supplement that has either a methylated form or you get it from foods. Now we'll talk about some great foods to consume. Studies are also saying that there is another nutrient called choline, which is also a vitamin that can help prevent things like neural tube defects and some of that like early cell growth stuff that is also equally as important as folate. Now, the wonderful thing about nature is that a lot of the foods that have a lot of folate in them are also really high in choline. So that works really well. Then when you're looking at like some fertility foods and something to kind of help get you started, they're usually one and the same. Some of my favorite foods to help you fertility are anything in the cabbage family. So Brussels sprouts, and there are some yummy recipes out there. It's nothing a little butter and salt and pepper can't solve, just saying. You can find a good way to eat Brussels sprouts. They do not just have to be steamed and gross. Red kidney beans are also really high in folate and choline. Liver, funny enough, and I know not a lot of people love organ meats. However, it's time to kind of like look into some of those older recipes and see how they're normally prepared to make them a little bit more yummy. Liver is not good just by itself if all you do is fry it in a pan and try to eat it. I know like my grandmother, one of her recipes that she used to make when I was a kid is she would actually soak liver in buttermilk to kind of take out that gaminess, and then she would fry it with onions and apples. So even further sweeten that and just make it a little bit more palatable. So I promise you, even though these might not be foods that you normally eat, you can try to find out ways to make them really yummy. And if not, then definitely go and seek out a supplement. Just try to make sure that you have a supplement that is gonna work for your body. So liver is fantastic. Eggs are also rich in choline. They are also a good source of zinc and a number of other things. So eggs are a really fantastic thing to incorporate into your diet, as well as any of your like whole grain products. So wheat germ is also really high in folate and choline. So those are really fantastic. Wheat germ muffins, or add them to cereals or granolas. And wheat germ is really high in different kinds of vitamins and minerals as well, all of your Bs. So if you're looking for really great sources for that, you don't necessarily have to do meat products if you're vegetarian or vegan, but I would recommend that you do, like the kidney beans, the Brussels sprouts, and your wheat germ. So there are definitely some other sources that you can get some of those B vitamins from. Some other things that you want to make sure you incorporate into your diet are some things with some vitamin C. Vitamin C is really, really good for just cell growth in general. It's antioxidant and keeps your body just healthy in general, your circulatory system, like everything, right? Vitamin C is just so incredibly important for you. So all of your citrus fruits, really any sort of fruits and vegetables, you're not going to go wrong with, especially the leafy green kind, or the kind of fruits that are relatively high in vitamin C. Raspberries are also anti-inflammatory. There are some berries that are very good for you that are also very rich in folate, and those are some really fantastic things to incorporate. Almonds as well. Almonds are somewhat anti-inflammatory and also have a good deal of calcium and a number of other things in them. So as long as you are sticking to a more like whole food diet, you're really not going to go wrong. But if you are looking for some specifics, those would be my recommendations to start with. And then just avoid certain foods that are not good for fertility. We know that there's a direct correlation between trans fats and fertility, and that is for men and women. So honestly, all of these recommendations that I'm making as a couple who's trying to conceive, it is a really great idea for you to both do this stuff, because it might not be just on the female to provide, the health for this conception. It really takes two to tango. So you want there to be healthy sperm and a healthy egg. I would really encourage you to not eat any fast food, anything that has those unhealthy trans fats, high fructose corn syrup, so like all of your sodas. All of those things can directly affect sperm count and can set you up for some unhealthy things later on. And we know that things like the Mediterranean diet that is full of like fish and whole grains and fruits and vegetables, that seems to be the best kind of diet for people to go on when they're thinking about conceiving. I mean, health in general, yes, it also helps that. But when you're trying to conceive, it's a really great idea to try and make sure that your body is as prepared as possible. And so you're going to want to make sure that you have those nutrients in your diet, especially folate and choline, and just take care of yourself. Try to go low on the sugar, especially the glycemic index, and go for your whole foods. And honestly, if you stick to that whole food, we say diet, but we're just talking about general nutrition. It's not necessarily like you're not really trying to lose weight by doing these changes. You're just trying to be as healthy as possible. Those are my recommendations for fertility foods. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, ring the bell, and you'll get notifications. And I hope you have a fantastic time. Thank you so much.